Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on the first 6 issues, or the first arc of Mark Waid and Chris Samnee's run on the Black Widow. So here we have the covers, which I'll just show off to you guys. So we have issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, and finally issue 6. So, starting out with the first part of the story, we have Black Widow basically hijacking or stealing a very high value data drive from S.H.I.E.L.D, from the helicarrier. And there's some really great action scenes right off the bat, and a really well done chase sequence where Natasha Romanova, aka the Black Widow, is basically laying waste to her pursuers in the form of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that have been assigned by the director Maria Hill to stop Natasha at any means necessary by trying to basically capture her and make sure that she doesn't get off the helicarrier with the data drive. But we're not quite clear as to why Black Widow has seemingly perhaps turned against her allies in the form of S.H.I.E.L.D, considering she's been an upstanding member of the Avengers for many years. So we're quite clueless really as to why Natasha's actually decided to basically steal a high value data drive from S.H.I.E.L.D. So we actually find out in issue 2 why Natasha is in the process of stealing this data drive, and why she's done it, and what her motivations are for taking on the job in the first place. I will say that the chase sequence right at the towards the middle and the very end of the first issue, where Natasha is being pursued by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents while doing an aerial dive out of the helicarrier, there's a really cool sequence where she actually hijacks, I think it's like a rocket pack or a power pack or something, from a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and she basically she kisses his helmet and leaves a lipstick mark, and then she pulls the parachute cord on his parachute, and then she absconds with his let's just say jetpack for argument's sake, just because it's easier. And there's a really cool sequence then where she's being chased through the city as she actually manages to make her getaway and eventual escape on a motorcycle. So it's a really cool, very high octane chase sequence, and a very cool sort of pursuit kind of issue where Natasha's trying to get away from the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are trying to basically bring her in and find out why she's tried to obviously steal this data drive. And we find out in issue 2 exactly why Natasha has decided to basically steal the data drive from S.H.I.E.L.D. She's actually in the process of delivering the data drive to her quote-unquote employer, and the gentleman by the name of the Weeping Lion. There's a really great sequence in issue 2 where Natasha's actually inadvertently protecting and essentially keeping alive the director of S.H.I.E.L.D, Maria Hill, when the Weeping Lion actually sends some of his men, or some would-be assassins, to take out Maria Hill as she's attending a funeral for one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that has fallen in the field. So there's a really cool sequence of Natasha very stealthily and very efficiently taking out the would-be assassins and basically inadvertently protecting and keeping Maria Hill alive. Unfortunately, she's actually captured by some other henchmen of the Weeping Lion, and we're introduced to the character at the end of the second issue. And there's another really great sequence where they think they've got Natasha cornered and they start to interrogate her. But Natasha easily dispatches her would-be captors, and we are then introduced to the character of the Red Lion, not the Red Lion, the Weeping Lion, who proceeds to basically offer Black Widow a deal by saying that if you steal this data drive for me, then these hard copies of your secrets that you've tried to keep buried for so many years, and your assignments that you've purposely kept the world in the dark about when you worked for the KGB, when you were a assassin in training and then an eventual fully fledged assassin for the KGB, none of these issues and none of these endeavours from your past will come to light. However, if you fail me and if you fail to deliver the data drive, then I will ensure that your secrets are divulged and broadcast all over the World Wide Web for the entire world to see. So he basically blackmails Natasha and basically says, look, steal this data drive and your secrets will remain buried. So the next couple of issues actually follow Natasha trying to make her way back to the Weeping Lion to give him the data drive and basically remove the hold over her that he has with regards to her secrets from her past life as an assassin for the KGB. And over the course of the next 3 issues, specifically 3 through 6, we actually get some backstory and some flashbacks of Natasha's growing up in Russia and the school that she was a pupil of, which was a school for all girls being trained to become assassins for the KGB. And there's some really cool uses of flashbacks by Samnee and Matthew Wilson. I should mention that the series is co-written by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee of Daredevil, and we also have the returning colorist from the Daredevil run in the form of Matthew Wilson. Now, Wilson and Samnee do a really great job with the flashbacks, where a movement, or when she goes through a certain archway of the gate, which is an old run-down, derelict school that she was obviously raised in to be an assassin, when she opens the gate, it triggers a memory of her and her fellow students being taught by the headmistress to I imagine thrust, parry and deflect attacks while wielding a short blade. I would imagine it was a knife that they were being trained with. So it's really interesting that a movement or going through a certain environment or touching something that she remembers actually triggers a flashback and triggers a memory of Natasha's being raised and the environment that she was raised in within this school for assassins for the KGB. So the movements and the flashbacks being triggered are actually really, really well done. Particularly, there's one particular flashback where from a finishing move from a fight scene that she has with some would-be attackers is actually reminiscent of somewhat of a ballerina, where it actually triggers Nat's training, I imagine, to move very fluently and resilient train her body to become adapt to the various fighting styles and the fighting styles that she learned over the years while being trained within this KGB school to become an assassin. And we find out a figure of Natasha's past is actually trying to resurrect and restart the Red Room program, which was the school that Natasha was raised in and was a part of for many years. So she would then become a long-standing and good-standing member of the Avengers many years later. But we find out, like I said, that a character from Natasha's past is trying to resurrect the old assassin program that Natasha was a part of before she defected from the KGB. And the next 2 issues, specifically issues as she basically tries to complete her mission for the Red Lion and try to get the data drive back to him, and basically ensuring that, like I said, his hold over her is basically null and void. I won't spoil how the issue ends, and I won't spoil some of the secrets that come to light within this first arc at the end, because I want you guys to pick this up and read it for yourselves. But any of you who are watching this who have read Mark Waid and Chris Samnee's run on Daredevil, you'll know that those two are pretty much a golden team. What they do is absolutely phenomenal. Not discrediting Matthew Wilson as the colorist. He also does a fantastic job of bringing Chris Samnee's artwork to life, and it's no different within this first arc of the Black Widow series. These guys just bring their absolute A game, and it's an absolutely fantastic read. It's very fast paced, it's very chase and fight scene orientated, but it also doesn't skip on the on fleshing out of the characters, and obviously giving us some motivation and some humanity to the characters, particularly for Black Widow, when we see how she was raised and the environment that she grew up in, and also the fact that despite trying to bury her past and trying to obviously put the past behind her and try to come out the other end of it a better person, her past just seems to keep dogging at her heels. So if you're a fan of Black Widow, or if you're a fan of the creative team of Mark Waid, Chris Samnee and Matthew Wilson from their work on Daredevil, or if you're a fan of the Scarlett Johansson portrayal of Natasha Romanova as the Black Widow within the Avengers films, then I highly recommend you check this out. Or if you're a fan of the Black Widow character anyway, and you've read some of her previous mini-series and ongoing series, then this is no different. This is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait for the next issue, which will be issue 7, which will release towards the end of October. And finally, since I'm showcasing all the covers, there we are, there's the cover for the 6th and final issue of this first 6-issue arc, which is due to be collected. I believe the title is called S.H.I.E.L.D's Most Wanted, and I believe it will release in late October, early November, I believe. So if you're trade waiting this, then you haven't got very long to wait, or if you still feel like picking up the back issues, then that should be easily done as well. Like I said, absolutely fantastic writing, storytelling, co-writing from Chris Samnee and Mark Waid and Chris Samnee. Fantastic artwork and colouring from Chris Samnee and Matthew Wilson respectively. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section letting me know what you think of the series so far, or if you're going to pick up the series in trade, or what you think of the characterization of Waid and Samnee's Black Widow is like, and if you're going to continue with this series in the long term. Yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys think. As always, feel free to rate the video up or down, but as I always say, if you rate the video down, then tell me why in the comments below, and I'll take any feedback or recommendations for improvements into consideration for future videos. And until next time, this has been your host, Gambit896,